Hello, and welcome back to another team profile and projection here on Talkin Baseball, where we are bringing you an episode a day, every day until opening day. So hit that subscribe button if you're enjoying them and you want to listen to the rest. We got the San Francisco Giants, ranked 17th by the people that took the poll, our audience. Last year they finished 4th in the NL West, and fifth in extra inning runs. They were 11 and 5, so they were really good in extra innings and 1-run games. Wow. Runs scored per game, not that great. New manager and some new faces. Jake, who we got?
How about it? Bomel, Trev's guy.
Mm-hmm.
Get off our team. Matt Chapman's coming. And the Giants might be saying the same thing, but for now, they said, hey, we need to get more efficient and cleaner on offense, so they added some solar power. Jorge Soler comes over, your guy, Cuban ball player. And then they went to my KBO. And they said, JHL, Jung Hoo Lee, you're batting leadoff. You're in center field. So a little righty pop and a little lefty contact, we think. Jordan Hicks, they're going to put him in the San Francisco Giants pitching lab and try to stretch him out. Let's see what they got there. They also had a funky trade that we might not see results until midseason or even later than that. But they added Robbie Rai from the Seattle Mariners. Let's see if he gets in the mix. A couple other small moves. Who they lost? Jock Peterson, boing. He was DHing for them in 121 games. Sean Manaea, who figured some stuff out later in the year. Alex Wood, Jacob Junis. A decent amount of pitchers. And Brandon Crawford, man, the shortstop for the Giants for a long time. He is out of town. Mitch Haniger was in that trade. Chicken Strips, DeScalfani. I guess when I look at this, a lot of pitching kind of left, and they somewhat addressed their hitting woes from last year. I guess what does it mean for the Los Hibido Gigantes lineup, Trev?
I was waiting for you to say that. I love when you talk like that. Talk dirty to me, Jake. This lineup, this is what I'll say about this lineup. There's not many holes in this lineup. I think this has a chance to be a pretty average to slightly above average lineup. I don't know how high the ceiling is necessarily, but hey, we could dream upon it a little bit because we did bring some new faces in here. As you mentioned, Jung Hoo Lee, he's going to be at the top of that lineup. We saw him hit a homer yesterday in a spring training game. He's got bat to ball skills. He can walk. He can do all the things that you want from a guy at the top of your lineup. So I'm very excited to see this guy over a full season. Young Prince, Tyro Estrada will be in the mix there. In the middle infield, second base, Lamont Wade Jr., this guy knows how to put together a great at-bat. He'll be right in the thick of things there at first base. Jorge Soler comes over. He's going to be the primary DH. He's going to hit some homers there, hopefully. It's a big ballpark, Jake, but that's a big man. He can hit the ball out of there. Michael Conforto in left field. Wilmer Flores had a great year last year. He'll be at third base. I think he was going to be the DH, and now they got to figure out there. There's a little roster crunch situation going on there at third base. Yastrzemski will be in right field. Patrick Bailey, Tom Murphy, Blake Sable, like those guys will all be in the mix at catcher. Mostly Bailey, though. And then Marco Luciano, who is a fairly controversial figure. We were talking about the Zips projections. He's projected to have not a great season, but no one cares about that, computers. Wow. I think he's going to be the everyday shortstop, and I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. They brought in Nick Ahmed as insurance for Luciano. J.D. Davis is there in the third base mix. Austin Slater in there in the outfield as well. So they have some guys. I like this lineup. There's depth. There's real major league hitters in this lineup. James, what about that rotation?
You got Logan Webb at the top of the rotation. He is a 1-1. I love watching him pitch. I think he's really good and fun. You got Jordan Hicks at the 2, who was a reliever, 2-ish. I'm not sure how they rank the rest of the rotation, to be honest with you. Kyle Harrison, he had 7 starts last year. He'll be in the rotation. I believe they've had some injuries, so I don't know exactly if this is the most updated list I have. Keaton Wynn.
He got hurt.
He got hurt. Sean, how do you pronounce this name? Gel?
I think Jelly.
Sean Jelly?
Tall man.
Yep.
Okay, so that's it. I mean, that is not the most familiar rotation. You got Alex Cobb, Robbie Ray on the IL. If they'll come back and see significant time, that's nice. Tristan Beck just got injured. So, yeah. Rotation, I think, is the big talking point.
Yeah, this is from the get-go, when you're talking about these 2024 San Francisco Giants, even before spring training and their plan for starting pitching, it was a little out there. And I just talked about this on Baseball Today, but it kind of had to work out perfectly for them because you are counting on a lot of what-ifs. Logan Webb, lock him in. Like, that's one of the set it and forget it guys in the show, which is great. So you got him, and Kyle Harrison showed some real promise. So I kind of like them as a 1-2. He's still got to prove some things too because he hasn't had a lot of innings at the major league level, but people seem to like him. If you watch him throw, you can understand why. After that, you got Ray and Cobb coming back in the middle of the season, from different surgeries. You bring in Jordan Hicks, who is primarily a reliever. You're going to try to stretch him out. Like, how is that going to go? It hasn't really worked out for him in the past. And then it's the young guys. You have Keaton Winn and Tristan Beck, who you mentioned. Those are the guys they were counting on. Beck has an upper arm aneurysm. I think Winn has something with his hand going on. So, like, there's already been hiccups. Like, this is a team we're doing the TPP right now, but it wouldn't surprise me if they went out and made a move. Like, it's almost like their hand is being forced a little bit here to go out and get a Jordan Montgomery or a Michael Lorenzen, like something to stabilize this rotation, because they do have like depth, but a lot of it's questionable depth. So if you bring in another reliable starter and then those guys come back or the young guys work out, like, all of a sudden you're sitting on 6-7 starters, and maybe you deal one at the deadline to help somewhere else out in your roster. But, like, as things are configured right now, they don't have enough starting pitching.
Yeah, and that's why they continually are in on Snell and Monty. And it would be nice if they land one, but as of we record this, they do not have one either.
We think they're trying to land one. We say they're always trying to land one. And yeah, I think with the Giants, this is a huge pivot year for them, because I think they put a lot of eggs in that 2021 where they're the only team to beat the Dodgers in the NL West for the division in the past decade plus, that they believe in what they're doing pitching-wise. And, I mean, Jordan Hicks is going to be a big test of that. And a lot of these young guys, I mean, Beck, Winn, I know they're recently banged up as we record this. And yeah, we'll see if they could add, someone like Monty. We've been looking for his landing place, a guy that you can lock up for a good amount of innings and pair that with Webb. You just checked off like 400 innings, which you can't say that for a lot of starting pitchers coming into a season. That hasn't happened yet. And last year they survived for half a season with like 3 starting pitchers. It was insane what they were doing. So I'm interested to see what they do on that side of the ball, but I think we're going to find out this year. Are the San Francisco Giants going to join a team a la the Rays, Guardians, that can kind of tap into pitching whenever they need to? Or are they going to be back at the drawing board, hoping that, later in this year they're looking at a rotation with Webb, Cobb, Ray, Kyle Harrison. Like you said, he's supposed to be a guy. He's going to be 22 this year. He is 22, my goodness. That is what they've been looking at, and that we're talking about a different Giants team in the second half. But I think the biggest story in Giants land, they became a punchline for a couple years, every year around free agency. They finally roll out the bag, $100+ million for Jung Hoo Lee. He comes over from the KBO. Not a ton of hitters have had massive success coming over from there. He's supposed to be a lefty contact bat. He had a couple years with Pop. We just saw him hit his first home run in spring training, and that's where we're currently gathering our scouting reports. But he's supposed to be locking down center field. He's supposed to be locking down the top of the lineup. And you do have to mention the pairing with Soler, because everyone did their San Francisco Giants, what was it, the 30 home run stat?
Yeah.
Bonds is the last guy. So the lineup should feel a lot better. And you guys, as we because a team they're going to get compared to a lot, I think, is the San Diego Padres in division, and these teams just kind of in the middle funk. I think the lineup's going to figure something out. I just don't know what it is, because kind of like you were saying, Trev, they've got options. I just don't know who clicks, and what does it look like.
One note on the Lee's homer. Did you see the fun fact that it was a homer in every ballpark in Major League Baseball besides Oracle?
Oops. Oh, no. Stop it.
It's nothing, but it's funny, this first one.
I want to ask you guys about Lee. Go back to him, because we have, the projections are out.
Okay.
And 6 years, $113 million. So what is that? It's 18 a year, rough math. Beavers, something like that. 18 and a half.
Stanford.
19, I think.
Yeah. So he's projected for 285, 344, 433 for a 777 OPS, 11 homers, 69 ribbies for a 3.1 F4.
That's
Do
nice.
the Giants sign up for that every single year of the contract?
Yeah, I think so.
I think so too.
If he's playing
The
center
OPS,
field,
777 OPS, maybe you'd want to see a little bit more. But
he's playing,
it's very respectable for a center fielder.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that
So
would be
yeah,
great.
I think if they get that projection, they'd be very, very happy.
I think it's
That'll work.
that with finding out what's your party trick? Like, are you going to be looked at as one of the guys around the league that has elite contact skills? Are you going to be more of an on-base guy than we think? Are you going to be a doubles king, like Jimmy kind of mentioned with Oracle Park? Not necessarily a lefty contact hitter's power haven that, if you look up and he's going to be a doubles guy to those stats. I think if you're a Giants fan, that's what you want to know by the end of the year, because like you said, you're signed up for another 5 after.
What about those stolen bases, Jim? Didn't you have something on that?
It's pretty interesting. In a year where every team got better at stolen bases because of the defensive shifts and the pickoffs and all that, the Giants got worse. And, you could look at personnel. I think that's where you should definitely look. You can look at managerial traits. Last year, Tyro Estrada stole 24 bases. Second place on the team was a tie from Conforto and Blake Sable with 4 stolen bases each. So, man, they didn't run at all. They had a league low 57 stolen bases. But even if you look at attempts, they only attempted to steal 67 times. That's nuts.
Crazy.
Yeah. So of all the
How many times did Ronald Acuna attempt to steal? 75?
So
himself?
Of all the times they had a runner on second base and what Baseball Reference characterizes as a stolen base opportunity, so runner on first and no one on second, or runner on second, no one on third, I'm guessing, they only tried to steal 4.7% of the time. You look at what Bob Melvin and the Padres did last year, they jumped up significantly. Bob Melvin was in the upper, he was in the plus minus. He was 102 plus in stolen base rate out of all managers, so he was upper tier. And it's not like the Padres had anyone really crazy doing it all for them. They had Tatis got 20, I think. Tatis got 29, and Kim got 38. That's pretty good. They did a lot of heavy lifting, but you had Bogarts with 19, Soto with 12, Grisham with 15, Cronenworth with 6. So Jose Azocar with 8. So you had, I don't know, whatever that was, 6 guys with more than the second most on the Giants. You'd like to see him steal, but I don't know if they have the personnel to do this. Lee didn't steal a lot. If he gets run, he didn't steal a lot in Korea. Luciano didn't steal a lot. They don't. So Lair stole 0 bases. So anyone they added doesn't have more stolen bases. It would just be if. So I think it would come down to, does Melvin make it part of what they're doing and choose his spots wisely, and they steal on situations, not on just pure speed. It is something that Farhan said that he wants them to do, is get more speed and athleticism, but I don't think he brought that in. So
yeah, don't you got to do something about that then?
So that's the weirdest part of that.
Feels like the next part of the Giants conversation. Maybe I'm overstepping. I'm just using what we've done in for Yankees, every couple years, me and Jimmy Beeps, Joe's McFly, will be like, these Yankees are way too right-handed. Maybe we should get some lefties. And then 2 years later, the Yankees get some lefties. For the Giants, you have one person projected to get over 5 steals, and there's something to it, man. Like playing a team that's a threat to run, or having a couple guys that they're on base, it changes the game. You see the way a pitcher acts. They start thinking about it more. And the Giants, I mean, if I'm a catcher, the opposing catcher and pitching staff going to play against the Giants, I've got one less thing to think about. Like, that's a flaw.
And also, if you're a slow team and you're not going to move, so you're going to play station-to-station ball, you got to be a team that gets extra base hits. Last year, they were 25th in doubles, 27th Yeah, 27th in triples. They got a deep ballpark. And in home runs, they were below average as well. So hopefully Soler, Lee, all the new players, some of the new players, they got help them like up that aspect. And then it doesn't matter if you can't. But hey, in a sport where they just changed the rules so you could go from first to second easier, that's a big thing to get a guy in scoring position. So I am interested to see if Melvin makes any changes there. And then I do also want to note that I have enjoyed the stories about Bob Melvin and what he's done at camp and kind of just with the culture right away. It does reflect poorly on Gabe Kapler, unfortunately, because all the veterans are very excited that they have rules and guidelines. A little bit what we heard about the White Sox last year, where they were like, there's no thing. We don't know how to act or what to do. Like, no one's giving us orders. Bob Melvin can, and that seems to be what Gabe had done. And when he had a veteran group, it worked. When he had a young group, it didn't work. Bob Melvin has come in and said, if you're earlier on time, if you're on time, you're late. If you're late, you're like a fucking dickhead. And also Bob Melvin said, everyone on this team is going to stand for the national anthem. It's nothing political. It's nothing that. It shows the other team we're here and we're ready to play and all of our heads are in the game and everyone's paying attention. Gabe Kapler, no one stood for the anthem. And I think it was political by him, but then he didn't care what his players did. So the veteran players are like, it's nice. It's nice to be held accountable. Like, we have someone that gets mad at us if we don't show up on time. It's a good thing.
It's like decision fatigue. You talk about it all the time. Like, you got to focus on something that's very difficult. Like, all the other aspects of your day, you just want to be told what to do.
Yeah.
Like, I believe in that for sure. Especially when you're a young guy and you haven't established your routine. That's why you said the older teams, you can get away with it a little bit, but you got these young guys coming up, their eyes are looking around like, what the fuck do I got to do all day?
Yeah. So hopefully Melvin helps there.
I think we haven't talked much about their bullpen yet. Camilo Doval, that's my guy. They got the Rogers twins, which feels out of like a sick movie. Luke Jackson, a couple other bodies. I'm interested to see how it comes together. That was one of the other secrets of their 2021 success season. I think they were first in bullpen ERA. They had a lot of different looks and would come at you. So if they tap into that again, and that's it's where the Giants are frustrating, and we talked about this a little bit before, and it's in this range of teams, it's tough because if the magic of baseball kicks in, and the joke I've been using on Wake and Jake, and I've been bringing it to this show for a while, the Giants have like 6 or 7 6-hole hitters that if they were in your 6-hole, you'd really like that. If the magic of baseball kicks in, and they saw it in 21, and that's everyone can contribute, and they're putting guys in platoon opportunities. Jimmy's Austin Slater coming off the bench. You come in, like, they can go all righties one day if you put a lefty on the bump. They can make half their lineup lefty and more than half their lineup lefty and switch if you've got a righty. Like, it all came together that one year, but also Buster Posey was there. In 2021, there's some funky hitting numbers throughout that season. I just don't know what it's going to feel day in, day out. That this team has a range of like, man, the magic of baseball could kick in and Robbie Ray comes back, Cobb comes back. Let's go. We're going to be a problem whenever a team plays us. Or like things go wrong with this team. They're a bad team. I don't know. It's what do you believe in? And the pitching feels thin and it just doesn't feel like there's going to be enough from the lineup. But I think something's going to click. There's a lot of young guys. Wilmer Flores has sneaky just been banging for a while. If you want to get into Tom Murphy's numbers, DM me, because Tom Murphy's put together a fine last like 226 games. But yeah, it's not pretty.
I think last thing before we maybe move on to the over-under, like what happened to Joey Bart? Number 2 overall pick was going to be the guy. Patrick Bailey comes up, supplants him. Blake Sable comes up, supplants him. He's got no options, I believe. That's what Dalton has on the sheet here. Like, there's no room for him. What do you do? It's tough.
I don't know.
That's baseball, baby.
That's all it is.
Do you want to talk about DraftKings?
What about him, Trev?
Them in the over-under?
DraftKings, the NBA season is in full swing. Some buzzer beaters. How about that? Cleveland the other night. About three-quarter court. I wonder what that did to Chris Rose's libido. At DraftKings, download the app, and they're giving you a no-sweat bet up to $1,000. So if it doesn't hit, you'll get a bonus bet back in that amount when you use code Talkin. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers use promo code Talkin. Get a no-sweat bet. That's promo code Talkin only at the DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. What's the over-under, Jim?
Is yours.
What you got?
What do you think it is, huh?
What you got
What do you
in
think it
them
is?
jeans?
What do you think it is? What do you think it is? What do you think it is?
I think it's exactly what everyone thinks it is.
Should be like
I know what it is.
500, right?
81.5.
Yeah.
Now, is there any caveat here to like, can we revisit if they sign Monty or Snell? Or Chapman?
I think so.
Because
And
I think
we've put things before. It's say like, well, if they sign this guy, I'll go over.
because I'd say if they don't land any of those three, I'm going to take the under, and if they land one of those three, I'm going to take the over.
Okay.
I like that thinking.
If they land a pitcher,
I don't think they're going to land Snell. I think Montgomery fits the profile a little bit better. Doesn't cost them a draft pick.
I still like that though
things.
because Monty's pretty steady. Like he's
I
just going to
love
give you
Monty for
innings.
that.
Every 5
I do
days.
too.
Yeah. So if they land Monty or Snell, I'll go over. But if they don't, I'm going to go under because the rotation is. Right now they don't have a rotation.
I don't know if we're missing something on there. Like I feel like last year we thought the exact same thing. I agree with you. I think if they sign Montgomery, what did they sign Lorenzen? Does that do enough for you? Just a body, a guy
like
that's
kind
had
of like
success.
identity.
helps.
I don't like that of like Lorenzen and Hicks.
Just okay. I'm gonna take the over because I think they do end up signing one of those guys. I want to believe in this team. There's some really good baseball players on this team. The pitching scares me, man, but I think they do end up signing one of those guys. Then I hopefully we get Ray and Cobb back, and then we'll kind of roll in there to the middle of the season.
I like that, Trev. Yeah, that's for me. If they can keep their head above water for the first couple months, even if that's just around 500, which a lot of teams do in baseball. I don't know. I'm interested to see what they find out about this team. Like, hey, did they have something for Jordan Hicks? Is Kyle Harrison next? And I believe in the lineup depth, which I think when it comes to the San Diego Padres, which again, two teams that I'm mentally comparing a lot in the West, I would rather have the depth than just like 3 guys up top that are going to bop. And there's a rhyme, I guess. And I somewhat believe in their pitching factory that I think you're looking at 81, 82, 83, and I'll go over. Bomel.
Did you hear Bomel recently was asked, and this is on February 29th, this quote, said it was mentioned to Bomel that there are still free agents who could help a suddenly shaky rotation. And he responded, "You think?"
Go get him.
Go get him. Okay, thanks, Giants fans. Let us know everything you missed. Put it in the comments. Not in a rude way, in like a you're helping out the other listeners way. Don't be rude
Help
about
the
it.
listeners. You're helping us too. Be nice.
Jim, know what you like last year? Bullpen. least walks per 9 starting
Yum.
rotation, second least walks per 9.
Yum.
Pound the zone.
I do like that.
Favorite name in the org?
You gotta let me know earlier. It's a lot of names.
Wade Meckler.
Tyro.
Wade Meckler has a chance.
Nick Zwack.